All right, in this video, we're going to be talking about detaching from outcomes to be happy. So, I noticed in my life that you have to build an identity that is for yourself. And what I mean by that is that everything else in society is supposed to make you feel insecure, unworthy. It's also to make you live in your lower self, in the sense of always sinning and always chasing after things that don't fulfill you, right? Now, at the end of the day, right, you have to realize that life is suffering. And at the end of the day, even though life is suffering, there's a consequence to each and every action you take. And what I mean by that is that you could have the most fucked up life ever. I'm talking about the most traumatic event ever. And if you don't believe in Jesus Christ, you'll still go to hell. Give it a buck, man. I think a lot of people that are in this type of space where they, I've seen a lot of videos on LARPing where it's basically, I haven't watched the video yet, but when I'm just guessing from the thumbnails, I haven't watched the video on what it is yet, but I don't even know what it means. But what I'm just guessing is that a lot of people are talking about being losers and how that's like the new thing now. And I kind of predicted this ever since. I didn't predict it out on my YouTube channel yet, but I did predict this like 1 or 2 years ago when I started having any of you guys started like seeing those videos pop up where it would be like a guy or a girl. Usually it was a guy who's like talking about, I'm 20 something and I don't have no friends. I started seeing those videos like 1 or 2 years ago, maybe even a little bit longer. And now it's essentially popular to be real with people. And in one of my videos talking about the new generation YouTubers, I'll talk about how people are going to crave more connection, right? And they're going to crave authenticity even more. Like people are going to crave, not only are people going to crave authenticity and connection, but people are also going to, like, the people that are going to make it out in this new age where everybody else is kind of in the same boat, where you're either rich or you're poor, you either got it or you don't. It's only the real ambitious are going to survive. And that means that probably like 99% of people, of people that get rich are people with handouts, people that come from very lucky circumstances, and then the 1% who actually were born with average or okay circumstances, it really is about just ambition on whoever's going to make it to that 1%, right? Like, I don't know if I talked about it in that video, but there's gonna be people who are literally gonna become, at least have a good passive income off of just talking about how their life is suffering, how they're losers, And I'm not saying losers in a negative sense, but just to put it how it is, right? And I'm not saying like I'm a fucking, oh, look at me or some shit, right? But going back to the main point of this video, I kind of realized this early on in my life that the more I attach myself to others, the more I attach myself to things, is the more suffering I get. And I talked about this in one of my videos of how I kind of live in this like kind of gray point where every day is kind of gray. Every day is kind of like I'm so numb to the world where I know my situation, so I can't let myself get depressed. You know what I mean? Because like, let's say if I was to like engage my sadness, the thing is I still have parents, right, that I can fall back to. I still live in a good environment. I still have a phone, right, which a lot of people are gonna say, well, just because you have a phone doesn't mean you can make it in the world. Well, at least it gives you the chance and opportunity, right? There's people out there in the world who don't have a phone, who don't have technology. There's people, and listen, I might be talking about like a really small minority of people, but those people do exist, right? So I always take that into consideration whenever like I feel depressed or something like that. And also like the fact that there are other people suffering, And so with that, I can't allow myself to get depressed, or I kind of like bottle up my feelings. And this is kind of like an interesting topic, but that's not really what the point of the video. But I've noticed that a lot of people who have been traumatized or stuff like that, they go into isolation. And I've kind of noticed that in isolation, it's like being in isolation, even though it is kind of naturally me, because unlike a lot of these people that come online who will say, yo, I'm antisocial too, when they're really not. I'll get about with you guys. I can be very social. I can be the life of the party, but my core identity is antisocial. Like, when I do blow up, go ask my friends if I was ever really social. No. Did I ever talk to anybody? No. I was always to myself. But I find that isolation is, it also becomes like a safe haven, right? Where I can escape from the world and then just build myself up, right? But each day that passes, I'm kind of realizing that time is moving way faster, and that there's too much. There's like the pressure of success is, it's like I have to be perfect 100% of the time. But the thing is, the people that make it to success or have good weeks of momentum are usually 99% perfect, like 100% of the time. And so what I kind of realized growing up is you need to detach from everything. Now, this is not no Buddhist. This is not no New Age that I'm pushing you towards. This is nothing. When I'm talking about detaching, I'm talking about this. There's a lot of men, especially men my age. A lot of men my age are worried about bitches. A lot of men my age are just worrying about this sexual validation, or just validation from others in general. Now we're gonna superset with this. And when I was like around 15, I kind of went through this phase too. But when I kind of realized just how simple the dating game is, and just like how not worth it is at the same time, I kind of realized that I could not place my self-worth on others, on women, on success, on what my parents think. Like, guys, this is gonna sound very, very selfish when it says, but you really have to live for yourself, right? Now, people are gonna take this, and especially a lot of people my age, or maybe who are kind of a little bit older, they'll go to Nietzsche, which, if you don't know who he is, he was like a philosopher nigga, right? And if you actually do your studies on like Freemasonry and all this other stuff, he, like, a lot of Freemasons and a lot of just fucking demonic people were influenced by him. Like, they were a fan of his work, and because basically he had a basically Aleister Crowley, even Aleister Crowley, said he was a prophet of Thelema, which basically Thelema, the whole philosophy is do as thou wilt, right? Now, obviously, right. This video is not going to talk about the cult or esoteric topics yet. We're still kind of in the self-improvement video or self-improvement stage of me bulking my videos. But Nietzsche had a very had a very demonic philosophy, and like, you should just do it because you want to do it. And the only thing that I can give Nietzsche props to is that you need power in life, and you need power with the decision to stay humble, or to stay not violent. But I'm gonna tell you, in life, man, I'm so happy that I went through my like masculization phase all alone, and I'm so happy I went through that, because I walk around now and I have so like confidence and all and also other stuff, and really it's because I've started living for myself now. And the way how you do this, right? The way how you detach from this is, first off, I always talk about this. The most quickest way, right, is you always have to go through the chaos. You always have to go through the trauma. Part of my evolution, part of my philosophy, in life, right? And I always say that, I have said this in my past videos, but it's called slaying the dragon, which is basically the biggest issue you have. You need to tackle it, right? Now, again, there's going to be some nuance to this, where maybe your most biggest issue isn't something that you can inherently fix, right? But the most biggest effects in your life that you have the power to have some say so in, change it for the better, right? And then you need to kind of like peel off the layers of who you are, right? You need to get to a point in life where if somebody says a joke, you don't laugh at it just because it's just to keep the social flow going. No, you need to set the standard of who you are, of who you want to be, and then you need to start actively pursuing it each and every day. I'm telling you right now, there's this is something spiritual. Like self-improvement is spiritual work, because I'm telling you right now, there are men intimidated by this. And I'm telling you right now, there are men that I've met in my life, like especially in the gym, these little fuckers, right? Who are actually like way bigger than me, could probably are way stronger than me or whatever the fuck, right? But just because I'm not I'm not in a fight or flight mode, I'm not looking for validation, or sometimes a lot of times because they're jealous that the girls are staring at me or some shit, they will literally get so pissed off and they'll try to like brute way, they'll start making extra noise and it's like all this other negative shit. When really it's like, if you take my body and his body is 10 times better than mine. Like what does he have to worry about? Sometimes they're more attractive than me. What is there to worry about? And it's really because no matter how much of the exterior you fix, the inner is always going to be the solution. And we see this with people like Clavicular, right? That nigga is so insecure and so fucking obsessed with his looks that nigga had like a fucking fucked up nose surgery, right? And the thing with Clavicular too is that a lot of good looks is bone structure. You know what I mean? Like, I'm telling you right now, there's like you could be a fat nigga, but as long as you have really good bone structure, right? Obviously with fat it's gonna cover it up, but if you still have good bone structure, you're still gonna be pretty well off in terms of looks, right? In terms of dating, I don't know, but in terms of looks, you're still gonna be pretty well off. You're still gonna get attention. And everybody's always chasing something. Everybody's also looking to one up each other in life. And I see this a lot in the workplace. I'll say this for another video, but how the workplace, everybody's fucking fake. And I hate to be one of those niggas that hopping on trends because everybody's talking about this now, or the attractive man in the workplace. But I just want to get my 2 cents on it, right? But the way that you stop caring about what others think about you is that you need to start craving and start wanting to impress yourself. And I said that in my social skills video, the way how you get off that negative self-talk in your head is by impressing yourself. And by impressing yourself to who you are and living authentically to who you are and who you want to be, everything else starts off and all that negative self-talk in your head, because you're living exactly to who you are and exactly to your nature, right? Doesn't mean that if you're horny, you go fuck up, you're like, you go turn into a little goblin, go take a fucking white bitch, right? I'm not saying that, right? I'm still saying you still got to follow Christ and all that, but you need to live to your nature, right? You need to be comfortable within your own skin, okay? And a big part of life and a big part of how you're going to feel on the day-to-day is about impressing yourself, not others, impressing yourself, right? But the thing is that if what you're trying to impress is something that you're not truly desiring, but it's to impress somebody else, you're never going to be fulfilled and you're never going to be happy on that, because it's not living to who you are and it's up to their standards, right? You have to set their own standards for your life. And detaching from everything else will come with consequences, and nobody will talk about this, right? Now, there's a whole epidemic in life of men who are alone. And I'm telling you right now, I'm sorry, my nigga, but me being authentically myself has caused me to be alone. I'm telling you right now, though, there's on average, I only get 1 day where I'm in my head too much. But that's self-inflicted. That's because I choose to decide on things, because I choose to be self-aware and choose to criticize some parts of my life. If I want to turn that thinking switch off, I'm telling you right now, I'd be happy 24/7. I'm literally telling you it's possible. The only thing is that I like to I like to self aware, and I like to be self aware and self criticize in certain parts of myself for my further development, right? And also to keep me humble and to keep me realistic. That's something I do. But I'm telling you right now, I've gone a year in life where I've never. I'm telling you guys right now, you're not gonna want to believe me, but since the age of 17, I haven't had anxiety. It can be beaten, it can be defeated, right? And a lot of times, these issues of anxiety are spiritual issues. However, though, man does have more a decision. Like your free will and just how you attack life can change a lot of it, right? And I'm telling you right now, I come from a family of people with depression, people with heavy mental issues. I'm telling you, it can be beaten, right? Like nigga, I was fucked. Like I was born genetically like that. And one thing I want to point out is when I'm talking about detaching from things, a lot of people will take this into New Age philosophy, and a lot of people would say, "Oh, dude, you need to detach from everything else, and then that's when you'll get everything." When in my previous point, I said, "No, me detaching from others, it gave me happiness or it gave me contentment to who I am and to be comfortable in my own skin." But I sacrificed social life. I sacrificed girlfriends. I sacrificed a sexual life. I sacrificed everything that doesn't care, that doesn't fulfill my soul. I sacrificed everything for this. It's kind of how I'm treating my life right now. You know, a lot of my friends, I can kind of tell them when I tell them, "Yo, I'm gonna be a famous YouTuber." They're good people, so they never say it out loud. But I can tell some in their heads, they're like, "This nigga has to be realistic, right?" But the thing is, I'm telling you right now, life is suffering. So there's nothing else in my life other than this. Other than me talking to you, there's nothing else in my life. I don't care about literally anything else. I'm telling you right now, there are days where I'm like, damn, I want to fuck a bitch. The next day I wake up and I was like, it was just a fugazi. It was just, nigga was just horny. I don't really even care about it, right? And that's how the temptation is, and that's how sin is each and every day. It's just a feeling thing, but nothing else gives me fulfillment in life. And just personally, I'm kind of stuck in this like crossroads where it's like because like I don't even want to say because I know God is real. I know He's hearing me right now, but there's nothing else for me to do. Even when I try to stop chasing success, or even when I stop to try to chase anything like that, I get depressed. I feel like I'm not doing anything with my life. I feel like I'm not chasing. And the thing is, right, for a lot of you people, you need to have that. You need to literally have that where it's like you shouldn't place your worth on productivity or success. You shouldn't place that on that. However, I'm a little bit of a different case because I genuinely feel like I can make it, and I genuinely feel like I'm supposed to. Like that's like my whole life is like I'm supposed to be like I'm supposed to. I know it's gonna sound weird, but I'm like, you know, I've heard certain rappers talk about that. I heard some people, certain people on like I watched it like a randomly like a Lil Skies interview. And then he was saying like he was chosen, and I'm not saying that I am, and I don't want to be like, oh, look at this fucking big ego guy, but I literally feel like this is what I was supposed to do. You know what I mean? Like this is what my life has led me to do. Like I feel like if I'm not doing this, I'm not human. You know what I mean? Like I don't know. I just feel like this is what I'm supposed to do with my life. So it's not really about chasing success. It's just chasing what I need to do. You get what I mean? But if you were to ask me, why would you trade the social life? Why would you trade like the normal life in order for you to live to naturally who you are? Is why that doesn't seem like a worthy trade. Why would you give all that up in order to please yourself, in order to live to who you are and live authentically to what you are? And a lot of people, you're asking yourself this, and it's because you're scared. You're scared that maybe you living to authentic who you are is maybe a life where you're forever alone. Is a life where maybe you don't get the life that you want or the life that you crave. But when I go outside, man, and when I see these people talk, and when I see normal people talk, and it's not that I judge them, but I honestly, like, there's a part of me where it's like, these niggas are lost souls, you know? Like, lost souls, man. And it's not even like, oh, I'm not a lost soul either. Well, I know I'm not lost because I know Christ, right? But am I the best, the most perfect follower of Christ? No. So it's like, that's why I don't judge it. But when I see people talking about sports, or when I see people talking about shit that doesn't really matter to me, or when I remember back to the times where I tried to be social, where I went to parties and all that, it just wasn't worth it, man. It just was not worth it. I'm way more happier living the life I am right now. Can I wish I could change certain things to what I want? Yeah, but that's life, right? You can't have control over everything. You can do the most you can to at least alter some choices that life will throw at you, but this is the life that I would not trade it. You know what I mean? Because I wouldn't be happy or fulfilled living a normal 9 to 5 life with a girlfriend with all this, but I had to trade who I was. I had to trade my authenticity. It's not a good trade, man. I'd be miserable inside. So this is the thing, right? A lot of people tell you you need to self-discover, you need to do all this, and you only need to self-discover like 5%. You already know who you are, fundamentally. 95% of it. Maybe the 5%, yeah. Maybe you do need to do some self-discovering. This is gonna sound so cliche, but I want you, after seeing this video, to just be you and just to stop. If you have a goal, if you have a dream that you want to chase, and it's something where it's not something that's been programmed to you, right? Because a lot of people are programmed to want to be rich or all of that, but it's something that ever since a kid you generally feel like this is what I want to do in my life. Okay, pursue it, and then leave it up to God at that point. And people hate that answer. People fucking hate that answer. But the thing is, nigga, God is real. So that's the only answer I could give you. The fuck? Leave it up to God, bro. Just, oh, you have to do this. And you know why people do that? You know why people hate on God? Is because God will not always give them the life they want. God doesn't want you to be rich. God doesn't want you to be successful. If you become rich, there's gonna be a chance you're gonna cheat on your wife. This is keep it a $150 with you, nigga. Keep it a $150. Hello, whores out here, and these bitches want dick in their mouth. The more richer you are, the more you're gonna, you might change. All these people want to think, oh, I'm the nigga that will never change. No, there's niggas that change after bread, nigga. There's niggas that change after getting a bitch. You ever seen the homie switch up? I had a homie, nigga, who cried over a bitch, and nigga, like, I thought this nigga had a vagina between his legs, man. I was like, what the fuck? Nigga was dead ass crying about this bitch. Dead ass talking about, like, no, I can't hang out with you. Like, nigga, what? To the pussy, man, but all right. That's why people hate that. It's because everything God tells you to do, it's for your own good, but you want to follow your way. The heart is deceitful, right? And even in the Bible, it says something that you shouldn't discover who you are. Like, you shouldn't discover your heart, because your heart will lead you to, oh, who am I? And then your heart will lead you to all these other fucking fucked up paths that might lead you to hell. What I'm telling you is that I want you to live authentic to yourself, to be who you are each and every day. The more you practice this, the more you practice it, and you're fine with doing it. But once you're fine with being your authentic self each and every day, meaning that other people are gonna go away from you and all this other stuff, the number one thing you're gonna realize is that you're gonna be alone real quick. If you're already alone now, it's gonna be even 10 times more alone. Because people want energy from other people. But when you stop giving away your energy and live to how your energy flows, per se, if you catch what I'm saying, on how you authentically move, and how you want to act, how you want to talk, you're not fitting anybody's program. When you're authentically yourself, some people start to crave you. Some people start to look with you with hate, love, fear, anger, whatever the emotions comes out of them. But you will be finally free. You will be finally free. But anyways, this has been Los, and I'll catch you in the next one.